The moving truck pulled up to my childhood home at 8:47 a.m. on a Saturday. I was sitting in my car across the street, watching. Waiting. Two men got out and started unloading boxes. Furniture. Lamps. A garish mirror with a gold frame. And then she appeared. Tiffany. My father's wife of exactly 4 months. She stood on the front porch in designer athleisure, directing the movers like she was staging a photo shoot. That goes in the master bedroom. My bedroom. The couch goes in the living room. Yes, get rid of that old ugly thing that's already there. That old ugly thing was the sofa my mother had picked out in 1997. The one she'd sat on every evening. The one she'd died on 2 years ago during her afternoon nap. I watched Tiffany point and command and redecorate my childhood like it was a rental property she'd just acquired. Then my phone rang. Tiffany. Morgan, hi. I'm at the house. Your father's house. Well, our house now. Anyway, I'm redecorating and I need you to come pick up your mother's things. I'm donating anything that's left by tonight. I took a slow breath. I'll be there in 5 minutes. Oh, you're in town? Perfect. You can help me decide what to do with that depressing dining room. I hung up, grabbed the envelope from my passenger seat, and walked across the street. Hey Tangled Yarns family, it's Brett. And if you're new here, welcome to the story of how a woman married a widower, moved into his house, and tried to erase his late wife like she was updating decor. Today's story is about Morgan Hayes, whose mother died of a heart attack in 2022, leaving behind a devastated husband and a daughter who'd lost their best friend. And when that husband remarried barely 18 months later to a woman 30 years younger, that new wife assumed the house, the money, and the future were all hers. Until Morgan pulled out the prenup. And showed her exactly who the beneficiary was. Let's untangle this. Morgan Hayes' mother, Catherine, died suddenly in April 2022. She was 62. Heart attack. No warning. Morgan's father, Richard Hayes, was shattered. They'd been married 35 years. 4 months, Richard barely functioned. Morgan, who lived 2 hours away, came home every weekend. Made sure he was eating. Paying bills. Getting out of bed. By late 2022, Richard seemed better. Started going to a grief support group. Started seeing friends again. In January 2023, he mentioned he'd met someone. Her name was Tiffany. She was 38. He was 68. Morgan tried to be supportive. Dad deserved companionship. Deserved to move forward. They met Tiffany in March. She was friendly. Attentive to Richard. Maybe a little too interested in the house, the cars, the lifestyle. But Morgan didn't say anything. Didn't want to be the child who couldn't let Dad be happy. In June 2023, Richard announced they were engaged. Morgan's stomach dropped. Dad, you've known her for 6 months. When you know, Richard said. Catherine wouldn't want me to be alone. Mom wouldn't want you to rush into something. I'm not rushing. I'm choosing happiness. They were married in August 2023. Small ceremony. Tiffany wore white. Made several comments about finally having the life she deserved. Morgan attended. Smiled. Said nothing. After the wedding, Tiffany moved into the house. The house Richard and Catherine had bought in 1988. The house Morgan had grown up in. At first, it was small changes. New throw pillows. Different artwork. Then bigger things. Tiffany wanted to renovate the kitchen. Wanted to redo the master bedroom. Wanted to erase every trace of Catherine. Richard went along with it. Maybe because he was in love. Maybe because it was easier than grieving. Morgan watched from a distance. Visited less. It hurt too much to see Mom's house being erased. Then in November 2023, Richard called Morgan. I need to talk to you about something. Can you come over this weekend? AI image thinking, photorealistic shot of a smartphone showing a call from Dad, contact photo blurred, 16:9 aspect ratio, held in someone's hand, soft indoor lighting, atmosphere of concerning summons, cinematic detail. Morgan drove down Saturday morning. Found Richard alone. Tiffany was out shopping. I wanted to tell you this in person, Richard said. I updated my will. Morgan's heart sank. Tiffany and I talked to an estate attorney. We wanted to make sure everything was clear. In case anything happens to me. Okay. The house, the retirement accounts, the investments, it's all set up so Tiffany is taken care of. She's my wife. I need to provide for her. What about me? You'll get some things. Personal items. A small bequest. But the bulk goes to Tiffany. I hope you understand. Morgan didn't respond. Just nodded. Left. But something nagged. Morgan remembered something Mom had said years ago. In 2015, when Mom was diagnosed with a heart condition, she and Dad had updated their estate plan. Morgan remembered because Mom had mentioned it specifically. We set things up so you're protected. No matter what. Morgan went home and dug through old files. Found a copy of documents from 2015. And there it was. A survivorship clause. In the event that Catherine predeceased Richard, the house and a significant portion of assets would pass to Morgan upon Richard's death, not to any future spouse. But that was 2015. Richard said he'd updated everything. Morgan called the estate attorney Mom and Dad had used. A woman named Patricia Lim. Patricia, it's Morgan Hayes. I'm calling about my parents' estate plan. Morgan, hello. I'm so sorry about your mother. How's your father doing? He remarried. And he told me he updated his will. I wanted to understand what that means. Patricia was quiet for a moment. Morgan, I didn't handle any updates. Your parents' estate plan from 2015 is still active as far as I know. He didn't update it? Not through me. It's possible he used another attorney. But the documents we drafted were very specific. They included protections for you that would survive your mother's death. What kind of protections? The house was in joint tenancy with your mother, but there was a provision that upon her death, Richard's share would transfer to a life estate with you as the remainder beneficiary. Meaning he could live there, but couldn't sell or transfer it. Upon his death, it goes to you. What if he remarries? The new spouse would have no claim to the house. That was your mother's explicit instruction. Morgan felt something shift. Can you send me copies of everything? Of course. 3 days later, Morgan had the full estate plan. Read every page. The house, life estate to Richard. Remainder to Morgan. The investment accounts, 70% to Morgan. 30% to surviving spouse if remarriage occurred. The retirement accounts, Morgan as primary beneficiary. Mom had protected her. Even from beyond the grave. But Richard had told Tiffany something different. Either he'd forgotten. Or lied. Or Tiffany had convinced him he could change it. Morgan didn't confront him. Not yet. Just watched. Waited. Then came the moving truck. 4 months after the wedding. Richard was out of town on business. And Tiffany had decided to fully move in. Redecorate. Claim territory. When Morgan walked through the front door, Tiffany was in the living room directing movers. Oh good, you're here. Can you start packing up those awful family photos? I want this room to feel fresh. New. Not like a shrine. Morgan set down her bag. Tiffany, we need to talk. Can it wait? I'm in the middle of, no. Tiffany stopped. Looked at Morgan. Excuse me? This is my mother's house. This is my house now. I'm married to your father. I live here. You live here. You don't own it. Tiffany laughed. I'm his wife. Of course I'll own it. When Richard passes, God forbid, not for many years, this all becomes mine. No. It doesn't. Yes, it does. We talked to an attorney. Richard updated everything. Did you see the updated documents? I didn't need to. Richard told me. What did he tell you? That everything was taken care of. That I'd be provided for. Morgan opened the envelope. Pulled out the estate plan. This is the legal estate plan. Filed in 2015. Still active. That's from before we were married. And it's still enforceable. Because Richard never actually changed it. Tiffany grabbed the papers. Started reading. Her face went pale. This says the house goes to you. It does. Mom made sure of it. Dad has a life estate. He can live here. But he can't sell it. He can't transfer it. And when he dies, it's mine. Not yours. That's not, he said. What did he say, Tiffany? That you'd inherit everything? He said I'd be taken care of. And you will be. You'll get 30% of the investment accounts. But this house? My mother's house? That's mine. Tiffany's voice rose. You can't do this. I'm his wife. And I'm his daughter. And the beneficiary of this house. So you can live here while Dad's alive. But you're not redecorating. You're not donating my mother's things. And you're sure as hell not calling it your house. I'm going to call Richard right now. Go ahead. Tiffany pulled out her phone. Dialed. Richard answered. Richard, your daughter is here and she's saying the house isn't mine. She's saying I don't inherit it. Morgan could hear Richard's voice. Faint. Confused. What are you talking about? The estate plan. From 2015. Did you change it or not? Long pause. I meant to. I talked to an attorney. But we didn't finalize anything yet. So it's still Morgan? Another pause. I need to talk to my attorney. Tiffany hung up. Stared at Morgan. You knew. I knew what my mother set up. And I knew you were trying to erase her. I'm not trying to erase anyone. You're donating her things. Redecorating her house. Calling it yours. Because it's painful for Richard. He asked me to help him move on. Moving on doesn't mean pretending she never existed. Tiffany sat down on the couch. The one she'd called ugly. What do you want? I want you to stop treating this house like it's a renovation project. My mother lived here for 30 years. She died here. And until my father dies, her memory stays. And if I don't? Then I'll make sure Dad understands exactly what the estate plan says. And exactly what you thought you were getting. Tiffany looked at the papers. He really didn't change it? He really didn't. So I get nothing? You get 30% of investments. You get to live here while he's alive. And you get whatever Dad chooses to give you. But this house was never yours. The movers had stopped working. We're standing awkwardly in the hallway. You can leave, Morgan told them. She's not moving in. Not like this. Tiffany didn't argue. Just called off the movers. Sat on the couch. Stared at the wall. Morgan packed up some of her mother's photos. Some personal items. Left the rest exactly where it was. As she walked out, Tiffany said quietly, I really do love him. Morgan stopped. Then love him without trying to replace her. Richard came home that night. Called Morgan. I'm sorry. I should have been clearer with Tiffany. I should have updated everything properly. Why didn't you? Because part of me didn't want to. Your mother set things up to protect you. Changing it felt like betraying her. Then don't change it. Tiffany thinks, I don't care what Tiffany thinks, Dad. Mom made sure I'd have the house. That was important to her. If you love Tiffany, you can take care of her other ways. But don't give away what Mom wanted me to have. Richard agreed. The estate plan stayed as it was. Tiffany stayed married to Richard. But she stopped redecorating. Stopped donating. Stopped calling it her house. She and Morgan were never close. But they reached an understanding. Richard died in 2027. Heart attack. Same as Catherine. Tiffany got 30% of the investments. About $340,000. And 60 days to move out of the house. Morgan inherited the house. The furniture. The memories. Sold it a year later. Couldn't live there. Too many ghosts. But she sold it on her terms. Not Tiffany's. Let's talk about what actually happened here. This story isn't about inheritance. It's about erasure. Tiffany didn't just want to marry Richard. She wanted to replace Catherine. Redecorate her house. Donate her things. Claim her life. And Richard, grieving and lonely, let her. Because it was easier than confronting the loss. But Catherine had seen this possibility. Had protected Morgan. Had made sure that no matter who Richard married after her, the house, their home, would stay in the family. That's not controlling from beyond the grave. That's loving your child enough to plan for scenarios you hope never happen. Tiffany wasn't evil. She was young. Opportunistic. In love with a lifestyle as much as a person. But she learned that marrying someone doesn't entitle you to erase their past. And Morgan learned that sometimes the greatest gift a parent can give is protection you don't know you need until it's too late. Alright. Drop your stories below. If this one hit home, hit that like button. Subscribe for new stories every single day. And remember, a prenup isn't about lack of trust. Sometimes it's about protecting what someone who loved you wanted you to have. I'm Brett. This is Tangled Yarns. And that yarn? Officially untangled. See you tomorrow.